Welcome to episode 2 of TaxSnax,
where we got to meet with our new BFF, Bogdan Constantine, at Crazy Love Coffee House in Alpharetta, Georgia.
We talked to Bogdan about what is the craziest marketing scheme that he's seen or heard across the internet, and let me tell you something about Bogdan. He may not be one of our tax experts, but he is one of our
coolest people we've met this last week.
So Bogdan is pretty much like the entrepreneur of entrepreneurs.
Right, and his marketing and his automated marketing plans are top-notch.
When someone can stand in front of a camera and you can tell them what they need to market in 4 seconds and they can just go off on the mic, I don't know what more you could ask for. He's a marketer off camera and he's a marketer on camera as well.
That one-shot wonder, we loved it. But we also got to hear about his ideas on cryptocurrency, ICOs, and crowdfunding.
So let's talk to Bogdan Constantine about those things and everything in between.
Hey guys, it's Enya Spicer
and Kaylee Clemens.
and welcome to the second episode of TaxSnax. We're here with
Bogdan Constantine. What's up, guys? Thanks for taking the time. Excited to chat today.
Yeah, so we.
So Bogdan, you've been labeled a serial entrepreneur and also pretty incredible at marketing. But what is the craziest marketing scheme you've ever heard of?
Scheme. There's so many of them. Probably anything having to do with cryptocurrency and ICOs in the last couple of years. They've been really interesting. I'm just kidding. That's more of a shout out for what we'll talk about at New Money 2023 down in Orlando in December. I'm on a panel about the pros and cons of that. I think I'm pretty excited to chat through. What I would say, there's a lot of misconceptions about marketing, especially for people that aren't really in the industry. And the biggest misconception that I would say is that it's really formulaic or it's really easy to get marketing done right. It's really not, right? There's an old adage that 50% of marketing works and 50% of marketing doesn't. If I knew what 50% did or didn't, I'd know what to stop spending on. And what that really means is marketing is a holistic approach, and things work where they compound one on top of the other. So there isn't a get-rich-quick formula when it comes to scaling your business. There isn't a just do these 3 things, all these listicles we see online, and you're going to be super rich, you're going to 4x your business. It doesn't really work that way, right? It's actually hard work, effort, time, over and over again with iterative learnings where you're basically improving things by 2 to 4% each kind of go around. So it takes a while. But if you go online, in particular on Twitter, right, there's always somebody that's making a crazy amount of money, or so they say, doing something that has some fast-moving marketing play, and then they're also selling information from this, which I'm always a little skeptical of, right? Because if things are going so well, why are they selling information from it? But that's probably my take on marketing as a whole, is there's no silver bullet. There's just thousands of lead buttons.
So, my follow-up question, based off of what you were just talking about, is what would be the top 3 things you would say to someone who's trying to start a brand new business? Never done it before.
Great advice. The first one, I think people spend too much time in analysis paralysis. I'm looking at this tool and that tool and what system to use and the CRM. None of that matters until you have what they call in software product market fit, or you have a real viable product that the market wants to buy and you can't handle demand. Just go. That's my first piece of advice. Don't worry about systems, don't worry about processes. You can solve all of that once you actually get the real money in the bank. And more importantly, you have paying customers. And people, I've met so many aspiring entrepreneurs that want to go at it, and maybe they've worked for a firm, a CPE, whatever. I'm going to go hang up my own signal. And there's always an excuse, but I got to solve for this. I got to figure out this. Those are self-imposed mental limitations, really out of fear. First piece of advice, people have heard this before, but it's so true. Just go, right? That's my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice is if you think you are going to know everything about your business or how to do everything, you are sorely mistaken and you are in for a rough time. Really, the superpower that comes when you're a business owner or launching something is you've got to be a fast Googler. You've got to be able to intake information and look shit up online, pardon my language, and from that, iterate and move quickly. That's really it. There's 90% of things that you're not going to know how to do, right? Whether it's LLC incorporation, I think this audience is probably pretty good at that, to, how do I get leads from Google? Or social media marketing, whatever it may be. You've just got to get really good at looking stuff up, synthesizing that information, and diving in. My third piece of advice, so the first one, right, what we just said is just start. Don't worry about process or systems. My second one, get really good at Googling. My third one, right, if we talk about like these thematic influences of just starting, looking things up on Google, is probably the most important one, which is, if you think about what a business really is at its core, it's a value exchange. I'm going to give you something, a good or a product, in exchange for something, money, usually, right, for my good or service. What most people forget about that equation is you need to start what's called a flywheel. I need people to rave about my business and talk about it, etc. So those first early customers are everything. So you get 5 paying customers, then you can use those people to get an additional 10, right? But you got to start small, and often those first 5, maybe they won't make you a ton of money, but you need credibility, you need references, you need something to point to that proves that you're good. And you're not going to be great, right? You're going to suck the first couple of months at anything new you start, right? But if you don't get those first few customers and delight them, you're not going to scale that business and take it to wherever your aspirational dreams are, however much money you want to make, right? Those are the 3 pieces of advice that I would say is you have to really delight the first few customers that you get. Reviews, referrals, testimonials, whatever industry you're in are going to be everything there. So, you know, in the past when I've scaled new businesses, I'm doing a couple of those right now, I might give away the product at break even. I might even lose money on the product, but I'll make an actual exchange with that customer. They're going to give me X testimonials. They're going to let me do a video review, etc., whatever that is, and that's going to get me another 10 customers after them, right? So that's a critical part of it. Those 3 are what I would say is the advice I'd give to most aspiring entrepreneurs, people that want to start a business, people that want to, you know, hang up their own shingle. If you've been working for a bigger company, you think you can do it better, you likely can, right? But those are really the 3 big things that I'd talk about here.
And what would you say, I don't know, what would you say is your most fun marketing memory? Maybe one of your, what would you say is one of your greatest successes, or something that you thought was just such a great moment in your marketing journey?
I'll go up a little bit farther in just business creation, right? The first time in the first business that I started, that one of my team members, an employee, took a task that wasn't their job, right? And they did it better than I would have done it. I was unbelievably ecstatic, excited, joyful, whatever word you want to plug in there, because that is really like, we were at a point where things were starting to scale and improve, but that's the ultimate mark that you're building something that isn't fully reliant on you as the owner or founder, right? And you can actually have a true enterprise. So that's probably my most joyful experience. My second one was the first time that I got a paying customer through an ad. And really what that meant for me was that I'd figured out what the customer's pain point was, and I knew what that was, and I was talking their language, and I was offering them the solution that was compelling enough for them to click on Google search and then give me money on the internet, right? And that is, everybody makes that seem really easy. It's not. It's a really hard thing to do because there's so many biases, there's so many barriers, there's so much lack of trust online these days when you're looking up a vendor or whatever that may be, that was a huge win. This, for me, that was in 2013, right? Where it was a very different world. E-commerce was nowhere near as advanced as it is today. There was no Prime 2-day, right? And things like that. It's a long time ago. But being able to get that, so one, the employee that did a fantastic job taking over something that wasn't theirs to take, that showed ownership, right? And 2, that they did it better than I would have done it, really showed that we were on the right track. And the second one was paying customers.
Give us the quickest spiel you can give us of why someone should come to your new money session. Yeah. Why do they want to be there?
Yeah, so thank you. So really when you think about business, the way I think about business is like a sport. You've got professional athletes that play basketball, football, whatever the sport is, right? U.S. Women's World Soccer, whatever it may be, right? Those people treat that thing they do, that they're the best in the world at, like a job, but it is ultimately a sport. And what I mean by that is it's inputs and outputs. I'm going to work out X amount of time. I'm going to scrimmage X amount of time. I'm going to read tape review tape X amount of time, right? You guys coming to my automated marketing talk at New Money isn't about automating marketing. It's about having a system that you can now deploy into your business that has predictable inputs that if you do enough of X, you will get Y out with a certain level of predictability, right? And what I mean by that is really what business is. If what you put in, right, is less than what you get out, now you've got a value creation enterprise. And often what I see most firms lacking is what I call customer interaction, customer comms. That's marketing, that's post-sales, that's before you sell the customer when they're a lead. That's how you get them to come back next year, right, when they need to do their returns or they have a new enterprise. That's how they refer their friends and business colleagues to you, right? All of those things are customer communication, customer interaction, and them coming to that session is going to equip them with the actionable tools, exactly what to do inside of an hour to supercharge that, put it on autopilot for lack of a better word, do it better than they're likely doing it today, and drive meaningful iterative growth. So every month they're going to go up by 5%. Talking to finance professionals, right? You know what one, right, to the first power over, compounded over 365 days, it's right? It's 27 and some change. That's what we're going to talk about. How do I automate my systems so I'm getting better every day without me having to do a manual task every single day that get me there? And I'm excited to chat through that.
What are you most looking forward to at New Money?
Yeah. Outside of meeting some fantastic folks, having some fun at the after parties, the mixers and the events, it's really learning, right? So seeing what else is going on. We were at a really interesting inflection point when it comes to everything from, the tax code in the United States to some of the interesting ideas folks have got around, reforming that tax code. We've got an election year coming up. Those are always major implications when it comes to that tax code. Do the Trump tax cuts stay? Do they go? Are things going to go up or down? So I'm really excited to learn, see what else is happening in kind of the space. Really interested in kind of some of the stuff that's happening with IRA, right? Some of the new tax cuts and benefits that you've got for green energy, some of these new bills around reforming kind of the national economy. So I'm excited to learn about what else is out there and really have some fun with some folks. At the Flamingo and the other mixers we got going on.
And then I think the question on everybody's mind is, have you planned your outfit for the Flamingo yet?
I have not, but I'm looking forward to some great content with some great insight into, what that might look like.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, if you want to tag us out, give everybody your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your things.
Yeah,
everybody go follow Bogdan.
Yeah, let's connect. I'm real simple, both LinkedIn and on Twitter. It's at @DConstantine. On LinkedIn, I think it's /DConstantine after the N. Connect with me. Would love to chat further if I can be of help, etc. Would be more than happy to do so, but would love to meet with you guys digitally before we meet in person.
Lovely.
Thank you, guys.
And that's a wrap.
Cheers.
TaxSnax is brought to you by non-tax experts just like you.
So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Catch us next week where we'll be eating more food, talking to more experts, and where we'll decide, should I buy a polar bear?
Why would you do that?
Because they're cute and cuddly.
Well, in the meantime, make sure you take no tax advice from fake tax experts online.
Or us, unless it's in this podcast.